No, I ain't the mango. I ain't the mango. I heard of him though.
Oh, but at first you sounded like it.
No, I'm trying to get to the whole bottom of this. What the hell's going on? You got people saying they're child predators. One guy saying he's a drunk or some shit. I just want to.
Yeah, it is kind of confusing in order to figure out what's going on. I agree. The reason why it's confusing is because of all the false accusations.
Well,
Yes.
what are they all saying about you? That you ate out a
Well,
child ass?
Here's the
Banged a
problem.
16-year-old
20 years
that's
ago,
39 years old.
20 years ago. Why don't you mute him if he talks
And
again?
he's trying to lie about it.
Just mute him.
That's
shut
what's going on.
I was asked, not you. You want to make up stuff. You haven't passed a kindergarten
There's
grade
a written
yet.
affidavit.
Shut the fuck up and get your nose back
You
in
can
the
read
corner. Get your fucking nose in the
say-
corner. Thank you. 20 years ago, I was accused of a sex offense. The record is open to the public. The record has many discrepancies. My father had Alzheimer's. I had a lot more to deal with than a criminal charge, and I was given an opportunity in order to take probation and get on with life, or to fight the charges for an additional 2 years, and for projected grand total, and the total defense for this would have been over $50,000. I was trapped out. I got down to a point where we were going to trial or not, and I was asked in order to come up with an additional $14,000 at that time, with a projection of even more money. I didn't have it. My father, my family is more important. I could give a rat's ass. Most of the neighborhood knew me. I never expected to have to move. I never expected that I would have a fire at my house afterwards where the fire department sat around and let half the house burn. I was lucky enough in order to be a contractor and be able to recertify the house for part of it for occupancy while the other part was in construction.
Are you saying
Otherwise, I would have lost everything.
Set up? You're saying you were set up, somebody tried to burn your house down and they didn't?
No, I'm saying that the same mentality this other moron comes in with. There was some people in the neighborhood that was like that, knew nothing of the situation. Only thing they did was hear about something, and there's people out there that are flippant enough in order to just go out and act on it. Okay? Now, I had a construction business where I had 9 people hired that all lost their job because I lost a lot of my construction. Now, the reason why I can't mention too much of the case itself, I've given a hypothetical description. I've repeated that, hypothetical. But I did include some things that later turned out to be facts. And I've never lied about anything. I've been in the open for 2 years on the internet as an activist. I've made over 2,000 shows a year in the last 2 years. I got well over 4,000.
Why don't you explain the criminal offense you were charged with? Like the affidavit.
We're not talking about that.
You're talking about useful.
You see, that's your defense, is the fact that I'm a sex offender, so you are right. Because you can do anything in the world because I'm a sex offender. That makes it so everything that you do is right. That's fucking pretty stupid. And not only that, you come onto this show, say the only objection that you have to anything that I say and the only defense you've had for the last hour and a half is the fact that I'm a sex offender, and you can't show that in the record. You actually
like
can't.
I said, I
and
have
then
your
you make
written
a
affidavit
claim
where you
that
admit
I'm
up to it.
lawfully a sex offender. I am not lawfully a sex offender.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
Lawfully.
Because if they followed the law, I wouldn't be a sex offender.
And they
So,
probably
no,
charge
I
you
would
up
not.
your
You see, that's the
confession
oxymoron. You don't
having sex
understand.
with the girl.
If they
But
followed
anyway.
the law, I would not be a sex offender. Okay, so you missed the point completely.
So you've been saying
Now-
they try to set you up then?
I cannot say those words. You can say them all you like. Thank you, but I can't say those words. This whole matter for the last 20 years has been held up at the first onion peel, which is a civil case having to do with registration. And it's still pending. That's the first peel of the onion. And I have to continue peeling. I got news for you. It's been 12 years since 2008 that I attempted to start this lawsuit.
Well, there's a lot of crazy rumors going on about you.
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of crazy rumors, a lot of crazy people out there.
Yeah, well,
I
no,
mean,
I'm just
really,
telling
how
you
many
about
crazy people, when you went to school, how many crazy people were in school? About 1/3 of the population you would have nothing to do with, right?
Hell, man, there was more than that. More than
Okay.
that.
Well, why would you come on here and think that there isn't that many people that after you graduated school, did you know they actually went out into the community and became the mayor? Did you know they're the cop?
Wouldn't doubt it. Wouldn't doubt
That
it.
we object to. These are the people that have no more mental ability than doing what they're told or believing that the entire world, including the grass, the dirt, and everything is turned pink.
Weremouse on YouTube, and we are going to be discussing the issue of his 3 counts of aggravated criminal sexual abuse, as you can see here. We have recently obtained copies of case number 2001 CF 890 from the 12th Judicial Circuit of Will County, Illinois, the people of the state of Illinois versus Rex A. Fredrickson. This is the original criminal complaint with the charge on this 5th day of June 2001. Complainant Detective L. McNamara charges the commission of an offense as follows. Count 1, on or about May 30th, 2001. At and within Will County, Illinois, Rex A. Fredrickson, a male person, committed the offense of aggravated criminal sexual abuse, a Class 2 felony. In that said defendant knowingly committed an act of sexual penetration with a J.W. who was at least 13 years of age but under 17 years of age, and that the defendant placed his tongue in the vagina of J.W. and the defendant was at least 5 years older than J.W. in violation of Chapter 270, Section 512-16, subsection D of the Illinois Compiled Statutes, 1999. And on count 2, on or about May 30th, 2001, at and within Will County, Illinois, Rex A. Fredrickson, a male person, committed the offense of aggravated criminal sexual abuse, Class 2 felony. In that said defendant not only committed an act of sexual penetration with J.W., who was at least 13 years of age but under 17 years of age, and that the defendant placed his finger in the vagina of J.W., and the defendant was at least 5 years older than J.W. in violation of Chapter 720, Section 5/12-16, subsection D of the Illinois Compiled Statutes, 1998, and was signed, undersigned, being duly sworn and on oath, says that the foregoing charges is true, and was signed by McNamara. And here is the bill of indictment, and this was people of the state of Illinois versus Rex A. Fredrickson. Indictment returned by grand jury, impaneled by the Circuit Court of the 12th Judicial Circuit, County of Will, State of Illinois, on May 23, 2001. The grand jurors chosen, selected, and sworn in and for the County of Will in the State of Illinois, in the name and by the authority of the people of the State of Illinois, upon their oaths, present that, count 1, on or about May 30, 2001, at and within Will County, Illinois, Rex A. Fredrickson, a male person, committed the offense of aggravated criminal sexual abuse, Class 2 felony, in that said defendant knowingly committed an act of sexual penetration with J.W., who was at least 13 years of age but under 17 years of age, in that the defendant placed his penis in the vagina of J.W., and the defendant was at least 5 years older than J.W. in violation of Chapter 720, Section 5/12-16, subsection D of the Illinois Compiled Statute 2000, contrary to the statute and against the peace and dignity of the same people of the state of Illinois. and count 2, on or about May 30th, 2001, at and within Will County, Illinois, Rex A. Frederickson, a male person, committed the offense of aggravated criminal sexual abuse, class 2 felony, in that said defendant knowingly committed an act of sexual penetration with J.W., who was at least 13 years of age but under 17 years of age, in that the defendant placed his mouth on the vagina of J.W., and the defendant was at least 5 years older than J.W., in violation of Chapter 720, Section 5/12-16, subsection D of the Illinois Compiled Statutes 2000, contrary to the statute and against the peace and dignity of the same people of the state of Illinois, and the state of Illinois, and count 3, on or about May 30th, 2001, at and within Will County, Illinois, Rex A. Frederickson, a male person, committed the offense of aggravated criminal sexual abuse, class 2 felony, in that said defendant knowingly committed an act of sexual penetration with J.W., who was at least 13 years of age but under 17 years of age, and that the defendant placed his finger in the vagina of J.W., and the defendant was at least 5 years older than J.W., in violation of Chapter 720, Section 5/12-16, subsection D of the Illinois Compiled Statutes 2000, contrary to the statute and against the peace and dignity of the same people of the state of Illinois. A true bill. And there was the witness who testified, Larry McNamara, and bail was set at $15,000. A warrant of arrest was stayed to issue, and the judge of the circuit court down here you can see signed. And this is also was returned to me as part of the public records request that Rex Frederickson put in a plea of guilty. I do hereby enter my appearance in this case and plead guilty to the offense as charged therein. I understand the nature of the charge against me and understand the penalties prescribed for the offense for which I am charged. I hereby waive my right to a jury trial, waive my right to confront and cross-examine witnesses who would testify against me, waive my right to not incriminate myself, and I subject myself to the penalty that shall be imposed by the judge. I do all of the above freely and voluntarily, with a signature which I am assuming is Rex Allen Frederickson. And here is the original probation order, and this was late April of 2003, and when I was reading over this, you can see that we'll complete sex offender counseling, and will not have contact with any people under the age of 18 years, shall not have contact with the victim nor the victim's family, and for 48 months. And right up there on the top, on the state defendant here, and have been convicted of the offenses of aggravated sexual abuse, 3 counts. And then this was also returned. This was another probation order, which was from January of 2004, and pretty much the same, that the defendant shall not have contact with anybody under the age of 18, not including his family, and that defendant is ordered to obtain a drug alcohol evaluation, comply with the recommendations herein, and defendant is ordered to complete sex offender counseling through a counselor approved by probation, along with all of the other requirements of probation for 48 months. And there you go. That's what we have.
Look up the Electric Monk if you want a reference.
Yeah, well, no,
And they're
I'm trying to get to it.
steadfast,
I'm
and they'll
trying to get to it.
never vary from their steadfast belief But his horse knew that it wouldn't last any more than 24 hours. But their belief is solid. They're ever believing, and it only lasts for 24 hours. I'm sorry, that crowd's out there, dude.
So you're
Like,
denying
that
that. You're
crowd, they
denying
have
that.
no
you get
integrity.
ADOT,
They have no credibility, but I mean, you know that existence.
Yeah,
and
no,
that's
I'm
my
trying to
only
get to. I'm
defense.
trying to get to the fact. Is so you're denying the eating out the kid's ass is what you're doing.
What I'm saying is I can't talk about it.
All right, no, I understand.
Now, what
I'm
I
trying to
have
get
said
to it.
in the past is there is a certain amount of guilt. It has nothing to do with the charges that were placed on me. That is the comment, and that is a statement I can stand by without incriminating or fucking up my case.
The affidavits don't line up. Okay, so I just got a book that came in.
But don't forget, Mouse confessed that he did it with his own handwriting on the
Did
original
what?
affidavit.
I've had
And
sex
now he's
plenty
saying
of
it doesn't-
times. Would you like me to
and now
describe
he's
every
saying
sexual
that it
encounter I've ever
doesn't
had?
match
There
up,
is no
blah,
victim.
blah,
There
blah.
is no crime
You
on
had
that
sex with
affidavit, you
her.
fucking moron.
Stop
Go
trying to
look
act
at
like
the
you're the
affidavit,
victim
and
now,
you
or like you're
continue.
the
Even after you
innocent
read
one.
it, you continue to say
What
that it
he
says a
did was
crime there. It
stupid.
doesn't, you fucking moron.
And just accept it.
You're an
Now
idiot.
you're disgracing
proving it once
the
again.
victim trying to
Oh, by the way, the only thing you have to
prove
do is
you're
just go
innocent.
ask A
You're a
Balance for his
disgrace.
website. You'll see the affidavit. 60% of that affidavit is
Shout out
unintelligible.
to A Balance.
And you want to know something? Since I was 9 years old, I have been complimented on my
Central.
handwriting. Why is, now this is something I can do. I can make a question. Why is 60% of that affidavit unintelligible for having complimentary handwriting since I was nine years old?
And why won't you just tell us why on the part that you wrote out? Why would you just say you did it? Why won't you just answer that? I mean, you're just saying that.
Of course I've had sex, you fucking moron. But I never admitted
you
to
did
crime. I
have
never
sex with
admitted to having sex with her.
Yeah, you admitted that she cornered
No, I
you
didn't.
and was aggressive.
No, I
It's
didn't.
in the affidavit.
No, you have the affidavit.
The affidavits don't line up. If he was
They don't
guilty,
jive,
it
dude.
was a confession. If
The
he
dates don't
Doesn't
jive.
line up with
The
what?
events don't jive. Of course I had sex. You want to know something? I had sex with my wife, too. I have 3 children by her. You want evidence? I can provide DNA evidence that I had sex with somebody. Okay? But you can't convert that into a crime either.
Okay, don't overrun mine when I'm trying to speak. Okay, please. The affidavits don't line up. If Mouse pleaded guilty and he wrote up the affidavit, it would have
what?
matched hers.
What?
It would have matched hers. They didn't match. And in
Oh,
any case like
you-
that,
hey,
when
that's
it doesn't
crazy.
match, even on a guilty confession, when the affidavits don't match, what do? You wait till federal court. Why is this still such
I
a
can
big
explain that
deal
one
for
for
you
you.
fucks? You much rather sit and dwell in this bullshit than actually pull through. Okay, guess
Let
what?
me tell you something. This argument is nothing more than an academic exercise, and this is the problem. Even if I win the case, this sex offense has such a huge
Which you won't.
footprint in my life. Even if I'm proven not guilty, that's not supposed to be legal in America, but proven not guilty. Even if I'm proven not guilty, there's no way of getting rid of the effect it's had in my life. It will have no difference on my life the rest of my life. Ever.
I'll
Even
agree
if
with
it's
that.
shown. So there's no point. Like I said, this argument is academic. What it does come down to is, why have I been on here for the last 2 years telling people how to defend themselves in a court of law so they don't have to depend on a lawyer to say, hey, give me $15,000 for a freedom ticket. Give me 15 grand. Give me 30 grand for a freedom ticket. Okay? You want to be free? Give me 50 grand. That's called extortion. And I'm trying to make sure that you guys aren't extorted even for a traffic ticket. And I've been out here for 2 years bringing every dirty trick they've ever played on me legally and showing you how to get around it.
I agree with that. And that's what Mouse has shown me, is the loopholes and the tricks that we are up against to fuck us. Because just like with Becky Dean's case and all these cases, It's stacked against us. They want us fighting each other in court, and you're playing right into it, OJM larva.